Friends, we will start with 234C interest calculation in case of corporate SSEs. First, let me explain it in a general way. Already we have discussed with the 234C interest in case of non-corporate SSEs, and already you studied the provisions of advance tax. Here try to understand in case of the corporate SSEs, it is 4 installment program, unlike your non-corporate SSEs. But one extra thing that you are supposed to learn here is the obligation to pay and the computation part. For the first 2 installment slightly differs. How come? How come? This kind of facility which we are going to discuss now is not available for the non-corporates. For the corporate SSE, with respect to the first and second installment, obligation to pay the interest come only if the advance tax paid falls short of 80% of what he required to pay. What I mean is, for corporate SSEs, first installment comes when? First installment comes on 15th June. By 15th June, how much he required to pay? 15%. How much he required to pay? 15% of the obligation he has to pay. 15% में 80% का 15 में 80% बोले तो कितना? 12. So if they pay 12%, then there is no need for you to calculate the 234C interest. Similarly, by 30th September, how much they require to pay? 45%. 45% में 80% कितना? 36%. In case if the payment comes up to 36%, there is no need for calculating the the interest. But once it is below 36%, for computation purpose, you have to take that 45% only. For 15th June, you have to take that 15% only. This 12% and 36% has got a relevance for what purpose? To decide whether you have to calculate the 234C interest or not. Because corporate SCs are given an opportunity. Yes, actually you require to pay 15% by 15th June. But even if you pay 12%, we don't trouble you by asking you to pay the interest under 234C. If it falls below 12%, then the computation goes with 15% of the advance tax obligation minus actual amount payments. So also 45% of your obligation minus actual advance tax, cumulative advance tax paid in 15th September. This is one aspect that should go into your mind. Subsequently, from 15th December onwards, no concession. He should pay by 15th December 75%. By 15th March, entire 100%. If you remember that, there is no much of a difference between the corporate and the non-corporate. Write down, friends. Computation of interest under section 234C, for corporate SSEs. So chargeability comes in what way? Right. Chargeability. Where a company fails, where a company has, number one, fails to pay the advance tax. Number 1, fails to pay the advance tax. Number 2, advance tax paid. Advance tax paid by the company on or before 15th June. On or before 15th June is less than 12% of the tax due on returned income, of the tax due on the returned income. Or for a third, advance tax paid by the company on or before 15th September is less than 36% of tax due on returned income, or fourth, advance tax paid by the company on or before 15th December, is less than 75% of the tax due. 75% of the tax due on a returned income. Then finally, or fifth, advance tax paid by the company on or before 15th March is less than 10% tax due on returned income. Then company shall be liable to pay interest. As under brackets. Brackets. 15% of the tax due on returned income. 15% of the tax due on returned income minus advance tax paid on or before 15th June, brackets close, multiplied by 3 months into 1%. B. 45% brackets. B, then brackets. 45% of tax due on returned income minus total advance tax paid. On or before 15th September, brackets close, multiplied by 3 months into 1%. Then C. 75 brackets. 75% of tax due on returned income, 75% of tax due on returned income minus advance tax paid, on or before 15th December, brackets close, multiplied by 3 months into 1%. Then D, tax due on returned income, minus advance tax paid, on or before 15th March, brackets close, into 1 month into 1%. Of course, how to calculate tax due on returned income, I am not again making you to write because already you have written when it is a case of the non-corporate exercise. Of course, although my mind says I need to make you to do some workings on this also, still because of the time constraint we will not be able to do that. So kindly practice it from some standard textbook, because nothing comes without practice. Practice makes man and woman perfect. Then friends, first provided of section 234. This is one important. See, advance tax itself is something which is very paining to the SSS, because they have to sleep and dream how much of the income they are going to earn and what is the tax obligation on that, and they have to reduce, they have to pay in installments. In that context, two incomes are there. One is capital gains and another is the casual incomes. I can't plan when I am going to make sale of my capital assets. I don't know when the casual incomes come. Then how I will be able to do it? For that, the first proviso says what? Don't worry. In the normal way, you calculate your income, forgetting about your capital gains and the casual incomes. What you do is, let us suppose you got capital gains income on 10th September. So we don't bother you. 15th June, when we are calculating the advance tax obligation, without that capital gains and without that casual income, what is that advance tax obligation? In that only 15% we will calculate. But whatever that capital gain that you got or the casual income that you got before 15th September, on that whatever the income that is there, you pay by 15th September according to the whatever the percentile of the advance tax you require to pay. So this is one important thing. Please write it fastly. First proviso to section 234C, and this is applicable both for corporate and non-corporates. First proviso to section 234C, that is, the provisions of section 234C, shall not apply to shortfall in payment of tax due, on returned income, where such shortfall is on account of underestimate or casual incomes. Then friends, SSC and the SSC has paid the whole amount of tax payable in respect of capital gains and casual incomes as a part of the remaining installments. As a part of the remaining installments of the advance tax which are due, or when no such installment is due, or where no such installment is due, by 31st March of the financial year. By 31st March of the financial year. How beautifully it is being constructed. If you observe, if they don't add, if the installment is not due by 31st March, लोगों का जो कैपिटल गेन्स और कैशल इनकम्स 15th मार्च के बाद आए तो let us suppose on March 20th I got a capital gain or a casual income, तो इसका ये मतलब नहीं since no installment is due I will not pay the advance tax. By 31st March you are supposed to pay. On that I request the students to work out some problems. It's not very difficult since you have done with very big problems on this interest calculations. Friends, almost we are coming to a faggot in the saga of our discussions with respect to the assessment procedures and matters related to the assessments. A number of times we discussed on this point that these interest under section 234A, 234B, 234C, these are all penal and mandatory interests. There is no power to waive this particular interest. But friends, please remember, Central Board of Direct Taxes has got a power to prescribe circumstances under which Commissioner or Chief Commissioner can waive the penal interest charged under section 234A-BC. Of course, Settlement Commission also don't have the power, except that it can waive in case if the case falls as per the conditions prescribed in the circular given by the CBDT. So I think all of you are very much interested to know under what circumstances the waiver may be possible and what is stated in that particular circular. See, that circular says the class of incomes or the class of cases where the reduction of the waiver of interest in section 234A or B or C is considered as follows. Guidelines are being given. That is, delay in furnishing the return of income when it cannot be reasonably attributed to the SSC. Yes, that means for the reasons beyond the control of the SSC, in case there is a delay, probably waiver is possible. Not that necessarily you have to give is stated. If the Chief Commissioner or Commission is satisfied and for the reasons beyond the control of the SSC, in case if the return is getting delayed. Then friends, another situation is like I got the capital gains because compulsory acquisition is taking place. But I am not getting that complete compensation. Because if you read 45 section, it says what? Even if a part compensation comes, the obligation to pay that against tax comes. They give only a part. That part is itself is not sufficient to pay the capital gains tax. Then is it not a genuine reason? Yes. Similarly, return is filed voluntarily by the legal heirs. Death of the father happened. It took so much of the time for them to know that their father has got income, he has to file a return of income. Genuine reason. So like that they have given certain guidelines when the waiver is possible. So friends, waiver of interest is possible subjected to the fact that it is in accordance with the guidelines prescribed by the CBDT to its circular, and this is possible to the commissioner and the chief commissioners. Now I move to the next issue, 234D, interest on excess refund. Interest on excess refund. If there is a excess refund that is coming, I file my return, I claim the refund, coolly they have given the refund through intimation under section 143(1). Subsequently, they have taken up the case for regular assessment and they found that I am not eligible for the refund. Then whatever the refund that they have given, from the date of the refund to the date of the order, from the date of granting of the refund to the regular assessment order date, you have to calculate that particular interest. I am not making you to write, just for a memory, write it aside ready. That is section 234D, interest on excess refund. At what rate? हम पे करना बोले तो 1%, उन्हों पे करना बोले तो 0.5%. That is rate of interest. Of course, here again on refund हम पे करना बोले तो 0.5% होगी. Thanks. That is 234 ABC interest is 1%. उन्हों रिफंड दिए तो भी हमको इंटरेस्ट 0.5% मिलेगा. और रिफंड कल के दिन रिवर्स हो गए तो भी हम 0.5% देना पड़ेगा. तो रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट 0.5%. 0.5% on excess refunded amount. On excess refunded amount. From the date of grant of refund, from the date of grant of refund to the date of regular assessment. Of course, friends, we studied the refunds as a topic. There also I explained 244A. Here it is only a matter of revision. See, if the department need to give us the refund, and if there is a delay in giving that particular refund, SSE is entitled for an interest of 0.5% for every month or a part of the month. So friends, try to understand. Write down 244A discusses about the interest on refunds. 244A discusses on interest on refunds. That is at 0.5% for every month or part of the month. From which day, friend? From first day of the April. From first day of the April of the assessment year to the date on which refund is granted. To the date on which refund is granted. Of course, earlier also we studied one point. If the refund to be given is less than 10% of the tax due, no interest is required to be paid. Again, that point also you write. Note. No interest shall be paid. No interest shall be paid if the amount of refund is if the amount of the refund is less than 10% of the tax determined under section 143(1) or on regular assessment तो पूरा जो आप टैक्स पे करें before 31st March, in case if it becomes more than what you require to pay, then we are going to pay you the interest at 0.5%. Because the date is commencing from which date? From 1st of the April of the relevant assessment year. So if you come and happy will pay the 140A excess tax than the required tax, on that we are not going to pay any interest. You should have properly done your self-assessment. SSC paid the self-assessment tax 10 lakhs, where the tax obligation is only 1 lakh. On that 9 lakhs, the department will give the money. Interest? No. Why? It is not the mistake of the department. SSC should have done properly. So, interest will be paid only on such tax which is in excess of the required tax, which tax is being paid before 31st March. Because this interest will start from which date? From the 1st of the April of the relevant assessment year to the date of the refunds. The final word is, write down, if the delay in a refund, if the delay in refund is due to reason attributable to the SSC, is due to reason attributable to the SSC, then the period of the delay so attributed, the period of delay so attributable shall be excluded. Shall be excluded. What I mean is, I require to get the refund. My case is something like I have to file my return by 31/7, but full well after 5 months I file my return. Can I get from the 1st April to the date of the refund? No. Because the delay, there is a delay in filing the return. And that really causes the delay in the refund. So whatever the delay that I did in filing the return, for that period I am not going to get any interest on the refund. All of you are able to get my point? If the delay in making the refund is attributable to the, what is it, SSC, then for that particular period no refund, no interest on the refund will be paid. With that, I successfully completed for you even the advance tax and the interest calculation for the failure on making the payment of the advance tax.